Hi all, car's safely back from the show. Had a day to relax, long weekend. Mainly the transportation there and back was the biggest pain, to be totally honest. But anyway, yes, we're home. Time to really get on with the Porsche. Prepped the turbo car. Was the last thing to prep was the exhaust headers. I bought some water or laser cut 3 or 4 stainless steel flanges, 1/2 inch thick. Obviously turbo cars need to make sure they don't warp. Made a profile to put a round tube to a D port. So now you basically just press the tube onto there, it creates the correct shape. It does stretch it just a minor amount. And you can see here we've actually machined the ports slightly, but now the D port comes off of here. It does actually fit nicely into all of the holes. So for the CNC, and if we look at it from the back, you can see there's hardly much of a lip there, which is cool. So when we seam TIG weld the inside of here, oh, should I say when my mate Chris seam welds the inside of here, and then puts a fillet or 2 on here for extra strength, and now we have a nice D port to 1 7/8 round. 1 7/8 because I haven't seemed to find these slightly smaller 1 3/4 header ports. That actual port shape there is about 1/8 of an inch bigger than what's actually on the head, so there's no need to go to 2 inch. To be honest, this is already going to be larger. So anyway, so yeah, so the header flanges, everything else is there. So basically just waiting for Chris to have a slot, which pretty much he's a busy guy, so you just have to wait. But that's not a problem. The car's not going at the moment. Now I've done that, then basically I'm just got to nail back onto the Porsche. First thing we were playing with before we left for the show, obviously the wing came on. We made some very crude plywood supports for the wing, but I did notice with the wing in position I couldn't actually remove the clip. Kind of a minor flaw, but hey ho, we can get around that. So first modification this morning, find a piece of wood. Oh, here you go. The reason why we do anything with wood is because we love prototyping. So first thing I chopped off this afternoon was this piece here, and basically this piece is what was getting in the way. But either way around, we always had a possibility that we were going to automate the wing. It's very trendy, it's also kind of very cool. So realistically, by chopping off the front mount part, realistically we've now got clearance, and even me and the missus have just lifted off the wing, lifted off the rear clip with the wing in position, with no problem. Now, automating the wing, there's a couple of things. One, we can automate it to, so where the wood falls out probably. Oh, there you go. We can automate the wing to go, here we go, wing to go all the way back like this. Why would you say? Well, because it makes it even easier to remove the rear clip. This won't be pivoted, won't be removable with one person. So basically it's a 2-person job to get at this. Otherwise I'd have to do a lot more automation to get it out. So yeah, so basically we'll have a single pivot point that will be fixed on the wing, A, to allow us to pivot it back, but obviously B, we can also pivot it forward. So we can produce quite a large air brake at the back of the car, and which should aid us quite a lot at stopping at high speed. Yes, so that's the idea. Now, whether we do it electrically, whether we do it hydraulically, is still the big question. Hydraulically is fast. It's definitely the quickest way of flipping it up and we can slowly bring it back, or we can bring it back at a reasonable quick speed, whichever. And we might even do a combination of two, go electro-hydraulic, so technically we'll have a hydraulic cylinder to do the air brake side of it. So we'll have one cylinder that will do a fixed amount of wing change this way, and then we can electrically adjust the position, so we basically have a little bit more rake at lower speeds, and then once the car gets into a high-speed situation, we can slowly dial the wing back to dial out the effectiveness of the rear wing. Because of its size, we don't want to be producing too much downforce at the back to basically become a pivoting member and lifting the front wheels up. So yes, we can do it on two ways. We can even actually connect the hydraulic hydraulic ram for the rear wing. We can connect that actually to keep it in one piece. So we've actually connect the electric cylinder to the hydraulics. The amount we'll be altering the wing angle will be pretty minor amounts to get you know, a low speed to, I think you only want to go from probably, you know, -1 degree, which is probably what we're going to run at high speed stuff. So actually dial the wing out completely, so it just becomes technically a drag and not really a huge amount of downforce, to probably about 3 to 4 degrees, which is going to be a huge amount of downforce even at reasonably low speed. So we're only going to alter the wing this amount. So electrically it'll be a small amount. Hydraulically we'll want to drop it by quite a bit. So realistically we've got a lot more in the hydraulics, and electrically it's just a trim. So we can run a hydraulic cylinder and then a normal linear motor of some sort, either servo activated or PWM or something to that effect, to get the actual wing dialed in. Now, whatever the electric unit we have in there will have to have feedback. Actually, we could run a separate feedback, couldn't we? If we run the two, we can still run one single actuator with a separate feedback. There's options. You can buy linear actuators with actually had feedback with themselves, so you know the position of it. And basically, we'll have a little brain in there somewhere. We'll be able to control purely the rear wing, and we can, you know, run some different settings on the dash. We can sort of manually dial the wing back for cruising. So basically, at normal cruise speeds, you can dial the wing back to be less effective. So put some more into a low drag setup. Yeah, there's options. There's plenty of options. So, but yeah, it's nice to. It was nice to have the car quasi painted, should we say? Okay, all the paint's going to come off the suspension, the chassis. It was really only put on purely to, so that you just cover up the patina that's on the chassis over the last 18 months while it's been built. All of the chassis and the wishbones will be completely blasted, and all actually it gives them a good guide coat, I suppose, for the sandblaster. Take all of the paint off, and then we'll powder coat all the parts. Same thing as we did with the turbo car. Good test. We lowered this mount. Previously, where I had it was a little bit too high. We lowered the position of this, and if this position is okay, which I'm going to check after this video, and then basically I'll know exactly what the height is going to be, and then we can get on to make the front mount, to mount the front bodywork on. That should be quite easy. So then we can do permanently weld 4 studs to the chassis, which basically at the moment we've just got a couple of bolts welded here, but I just need to confirm the height. The last position we put it on wasn't quite low enough. Now I've dropped it down to about 15 millimeters to make sure that when we fit the front clip on, that it slides on in place and gets in the correct position. Then we can start doing all the fancy stuff. But yeah, we've got confirmation. Oh, it's got a bloody thing there. We've got confirmation of a few bits and pieces. Anyway, order the drive shafts this week, so Monday, Tuesday I've got the dimensions, so hopefully get them made. And we can start mucking around with the good stuff on the rear wing. As far as the bodywork's concerned, I was just happy, wanted to make sure that I could actually miss the wing with the rear clip, which I know I can now, so I know I've got enough room the actuator stay, so I'm trying to pull the actuator and stuff below the bodywork, but the rod that will come up through the bodywork to the wing, I don't mind that going through the bodywork and we having a U-channel around it, but we need to make sure that we have clearance for everything else. So I'm okay there. Still got lots of work on the bodywork, but some bits you want to get done in order, and these bits here are driving me nuts. This side panels, this is fixed, that's fixed, side's fixed now, so really I can fix and repair these and then bond these two together. Once those two are bonded together, then I can really concentrate on that shape being correct for the front and vice versa. So I need to do this. Now to do this I need to have panels down the side, or at least a single skin that I can put this up to. So basically we have a thing that'll come up to the skin of the body, or what will look like the tub, and then return so we can rivet that on. And like I said before, this line here is kind of, you can see this whole piece here is like shifted to the right. So basically we need to cut this, move this further in, and then basically make this panel nicely sit up against there. So so tomorrow will be strip the bodywork off, and I might as well just put the actual panels. So we'll actually start building the aluminium skins and the panels that'll go around the chassis. And that's quite an enjoyable job, to be honest, once it has a dramatic effect to it. So we'll probably start skinning the front and putting panels on. Only temporarily, we'll put temporary rivets in, but basically build up all the skins that will seal the front bodywork off, seal the cockpit off from the car. So we can start doing that and blend it, and blend the side two pieces in, and that's one more job out of the way. So yes, it's kind of nice. Would have been nice to do some of the anodizing on the billet of this before the show, but I just ran out of time, as you always do. So yes, you can see before the show I've actually mounted the calipers now. We spot drilled the caliper positions, make sure everything was okay, didn't need any spacers or anything, just to make sure, just a visual confirmation, so now the calipers are in the correct positions. Handbrake calipers for the rear is probably the last thing on the brakes, and then mount the once we've got the final position for this, then I'll mount the fluid reservoir on the front, and we can start actually doing some preliminary plumbing of the brakes, which would be nice to have the brakes, especially having the handbrake, because when you're moving this thing around, it's nice to be able to throw the handbrake on. Anyway, yes, I'm blabbing on, so there we go. Car is looking good. Oh, right, the fuel cell tank's in. Fuel tank's in. If I didn't do it, I don't think I've done that in the video yet, so that fits pretty well. Only one minor glitch, which to be honest, I kind of knew was heading that way, because I gave fuel safe kind of a free rein, because I knew I could modify it afterwards, is the fact that the filler cap here wasn't quite over. They didn't do an offset one, I just told them to do what they did. So basically all they do is take this top hat off with the filler tube and just make a new one which has the filler tube, or even might, oh, it's anodized, isn't it? Yeah, you're not going to weld it once it's anodized. So okay, I'm going to make a new tube here, because this here just hits this beam at the back. I can show it there, there you go. I can't reach, but at least the video camera can. You can see here it just interferes with this beam, not by much. So basically we'll make a new flat piece there and a new filler tube, but then we'll come out at an angle which will get close to here, and obviously come around the angle, and we'll come up to this side here. So this will be the correct filler cap for it. There's only one fuel cap, two sides, only one fuel cap. The other side will just have a dummy in it, so we'll just have a dummy cap in here. Don't know whether the original had two caps. I suppose it must have done, but whatever, we don't need to. So yes, you know, it was nice to see a few things bolted into it. We did the steel underfloor for the tank, that's in, that's all riv nuts now in the chassis, so that's mounted in. And pretty much actually it's a lot better fit than I thought it was going to be. I kind of left a little bit of leeway, and actually I'm glad I did, because it's pretty close, pretty tight. It's still 20 gallons, so it's still quite a large cell, but we needed to make sure it fitted, so I want to guarantee, since I didn't have control or test fit on the fuel cell, I brought it in a good half an inch from all the dimensions that I knew. And to be honest, it kind of grew a little bit in production, which is, surprise, surprise, always make sure you've got plenty of room. And this thing has multifaceted angle. You've got a face here, a face there. The side faces aren't straight that way. They're like this, and then they come in again. So actually there's compound angles everywhere. Best reason to do it in CAD and send them a CAD drawing, and then they drew it from there. So yeah, super happy. Anyway, time to get back. Sorry the video update's been a bit slow recently, but due to working my ass to get it off, get it ready for the show, and bronchitis. I've had fun. So yes, I was coughing even more for the guys that say, yes, I cough too much. Yes, well, it's genetic. Get used to it. Okay, I shall see you all later. Thanks for watching.